Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Raja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Raja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Om Vishnupad Punamansa Pariprajukacharya Stottarasatshi Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kunigiri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Gangamai Ki Jai Ramanamai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Oh, that's it. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:28-17. Nandadaya tu tang drishtva paramananda nivrita krishnam cha tatra chandopi stuyamanam suvismitaha nandadayastutam drishtva paramananda nivritaha krishnam cha tatra chandobhi stuyamanam suvismitaha nandadayastu tam drishtva paramananda nivritaha krishnam cha tatra chandobhi stuyamanam suvismitaha nandadayastu tam drishtva paramananda nivrita krishnam cha tatra chandobhi stuyamanam suvismitaha nandadayastu tam drishtva paramananda nivritaha krishnam cha tatra chandobhi stuyamanam suvismitaha nandadayastu tam drishtva paramananda nivritaha krishnam cha tatra chandobhi stuyamanam suvismitaha paramananda nivrita krishnam cha tatra chandobhi stuyamanam suvismitaha nandadayastu tam drishtva paramananda nivritaha tam drishtva paramananda nivritaha krishnam cha tatra chandobhi stuyamanam suvismitaha nanda adayaha the cowherd men headed by Nanda Maharaj. Tu and tam that drishtva seen padama supreme ananda by ecstasy nivrita overwhelmed with joy Krishnam Lord Krishna cha and Tatra, there. Chandophi, by the Vedic hymns. Stuyamanam, being praised. Su, very much. Vismitaha, surprised. Nanda Maharaj and the other cowherd men felt the greatest happiness when they saw that transcendental abode. They were especially amazed to see Krishna himself there, surrounded by the personified Vedas who were offering him prayers. And I'll do a cell phone check, and you can do a cell phone check. Make sure the cell phones are in silent mode, if you would. Purport. Although the residents of Vrindavan considered themselves ordinary persons, Lord Krishna wanted them to know of their extraordinary good fortune. Thus, within a lake in the Jamuna River, the Lord showed them his personal abode. The cowherd men were amazed to see that the kingdom of God had exactly the same spiritual atmosphere as their own earthly Vrindavan, and that just as in their Vrindavan, Lord Krishna was personally present in their unique vision. He was present as the Lord of the spiritual world. As Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur points out, these verses emphasize that Lord Krishna did not merely show the cowherd men a sample Vaikuntha planet, but that he specifically revealed his Krishna Loka, the greatest of eternal abodes and the natural home of the residents of Vrindavan, who loved Krishna more than anyone else. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Mahyam Tadati Shapadantikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrashatam Shahagana Raganathan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lolita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Vansha Kolpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Pyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nandari astu tam drishtva paramananda nivritaha Krishnam cha tatra chandhobhi stuyamanam suvismitaha. Lord Krishna had shown the Brajbasis the spiritual world. They wanted to know, will we be liberated? Is Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Will he give us liberation? So Krishna showed them the spiritual world. We heard yesterday that he immersed them in the Brahmajyoti, essentially. But in the Brahmajyoti, the Krishna's personal abode is there. I once asked Srila Prabhupada, when we were working on Bhagavad Gita as it is, what does it mean? Brahmano hi pratishtaham. What is that? Amritasya vyayasya cha. Then shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukasya ikantikasya cha. What does it mean that the Brahman is the constitutional position of eternal happiness? Because it's Brahmano hi pratishtaham, I'm the source of the Brahmajyoti. What does it mean that the Brahmajyoti is the constitutional position of eternal happiness? And Srila Prabhupada responded that when you go to the spiritual world, I'm paraphrasing, of course, when you go to the spiritual world, you're in the Brahmajyoti. Just like when you go to the sun planet, you're also in the sunshine. The sunshine is not absent. So everything is included when one goes to the Paramdham, the supreme Vaikuntha, the kingdom of God. Brahmajyoti is included, everything's included. So now the cowherd men, headed by Nanda Maharaj, saw the spiritual world. Paramananda nivritaha. And they were filled with Paramananda, the highest transcendental happiness. They were filled with ecstasy. And Krishnam cha tatra. And they saw Krishna there also, in the spiritual world. Chandobhi stuyamanam, being praised by the Vedic hymns, personified. Suvismitaha, and so the cowherd men were amazed, astonished. The Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments that what they saw was the Goloka Vrindavan. And they were surprised that we've come to the spiritual world and it looks just like home. The cows are there, the same trees, the same cows, the same Jamuna, the same everything. The whole, the kingdom of God looks just like Braj. So that was astonishing to them. And Krishna is here also, but he's being praised by these, who are these people? And what are they chanting? They saw that also, that all the Vedic hymns were personified, glorifying Krishna. The emphasis on this, in this explanation, is that above Vaikuntha, Vrindavan is still higher, because in Vrindavan you get sweetness, which is not to be found in Vaikuntha. In Vaikuntha you get majesty, you get a royal atmosphere. You get, yes, and everyone is worshiping Krishna with awe and reverence. That's what we see in Vaikuntha. Overwhelming opulence. We hear, since Prithu Prabhu was talking about biblical literature yesterday, we hear about God as the King of Kings and so on. So that's available in Vaikuntha. There he's the greatest of all kings. But in Vrindavan, forget kingship. Krishna is a cowherd boy, herding his cows with his friends, dancing with the gopis, playing with all of his devotees there in an informal way, where the love is greater than in Vaikuntha. In Vaikuntha, the love is very strong, and everyone loves Lord Narayan as just as they were loving Lord Ramchandra. We have such a great king. They loved their king. So in Vaikuntha, they love their king, Lord Narayan. But in Vrindavan, no kingship. They just love Krishna. They love the sweet features, Krishna and his sweet feature that he doesn't show anywhere else. That's the special characteristic of Goloka Vrindavan. So the cowherd men saw that the place that Krishna has shown us is higher than Vaikuntha. It's more wonderful than Vaikuntha even. And we're already in that place. We're already in Vrindavan, and it's the same. Krishna is there. Without Krishna, no place is a place we want to go. No place is Vrindavan. No place is a place where we want to go. They saw that Krishna is there. And they understood that Krishna is here also. So it appeared to them then that the kingdom of God and their Braj were the same. So they got to see the sweetness of the highest abode. Or if you take it that what they saw was Vaikuntha, then still it was would have been surprising to see Krishna in Vaikuntha. And then to see that higher than Vaikuntha is the place where they're already living. That Goloka Vrindavan is more sweet than even Vaikuntha. We'd rather be here in Braj than in Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha is too formal. Everything's a little stiff. But here, sweetness prevails. So it could be read that way, but Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, no, they saw Goloka Vrindavan. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that when they saw Vaikuntha, that is to say, Goloka Vrindavan, they saw it's just like Vrindavan on earth. It's just like a millionaire who, having lost all his wealth, becomes full of bliss on finding some clue to the wealth. But then they began searching for Krishna, with his lotus face covered with drops of perspiration, worshipable by millions of their life heirs. Seeing him, they were astonished to see him being praised by the meters of verse personified, Chandoki. Where have these effulgent beings praising Krishna come from? They're unknown to us, but we can't ask them who they are. Though seeing us, Krishna does not show his boyish manners and come toward us. He does not embrace us with his two arms, and we're restrained from approaching him and taking him on our laps. Today he has forgotten hunger and thirst. How can his mother live without feeding him? In this way, they were astonished. So this is, yes, that Krishna was a little busy being praised by the Vedic hymns, so he didn't come forward and embrace them. But they saw that, no, Krishna is here in Vrindavan. I'll stop here and see what kind of questions you might have. Yes, Panchagoda Prabhu.
Yeah, Maharaj. So Krishna doesn't have to come here to really kill the demons, but it said he comes for the pleasure of the devotees. And he personally killed the demons out of compassion and gives them liberation. To become such a big demon, though, it seemed like you have to be pretty sinful and whatnot. So
I'm getting too much echo. Could you go a little slower?
Yeah. So Krishna kills these big demons personally, and someone who's a big demon, you'd think they've done so many bad things. Why does he personally choose to come and kill the demons? I mean, his Mother Nature could slaughter the demons at any moment. So out of compassion, he delivers the demons. So that kind of compassion he can give to everybody, kill everybody.
Excuse me, what was the last?
He can kill everybody and they can all go back home, back to Godhead.
Yes, he could do that. But not everyone makes the grade. Some demons by good fortune. Someplace it's mentioned in Nectar of Devotion that there was some demon who was going crazy as usual or something like that. And it was described that there's special good fortune in that. It was a kind of, there's something like ecstasy, even though he was a demon. So these demons are select. They're not your run-of-the-mill ordinary demons. First of all, they're very powerful. And second of all, by some good fortune, they've been selected. Just as Putana. The story is there, her previous life with the presence of Vamandev and how she was desiring to she was appreciating the Lord and feeling motherly feelings, but then when Krishna arrested Bali Maharaj, then she felt like I should just poison him. So then she got the birth as Putana.
Could I ask one more?
Yes.
Lakshmi Devi very, determinedly and strenuously wanted to come to the level of like the gopis, having that intimacy with Krishna, but she couldn't achieve that platform. So if Mother Lakshmi cannot achieve it, how is it that us ordinary folks, us ordinary devotees who are trying to strive for becoming intimately involved with Krishna. How's that going to work?
If Lakshmi, despite austerities, couldn't attain Vaikuntha, how is it possible? I'm sorry, not Vaikuntha, the mood of the gopis and entrance into Vrindavan. How is it possible for ordinary folks like us? The problem with Lakshmi is that she's Lakshmi. What distinguishes her as Lakshmi is that she's the goddess of fortune. She's the royal consort of Lord Narayan. That's her identity. That's Lakshmi. So with that identity, she can't participate in the Vrindavan activities. She's too, I won't use the word classy, but she's too sophisticated, too opulent, and has the mood that goes with being the goddess of fortune. So she can't enter. It would be improper for her. So, of course, and we can't enter for different reasons. We're contaminated. That's our problem. Lakshmi has her problem. We have our problem. But that problem can be rectified by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
So, what do we have to do to become such big demons that Krishna will come and kill?
You want to make it a project?
Yeah.
What do we have to do to become such big demons? We'll leave that to the big demons. We're trying a different path. We wouldn't know what to do to become such big demons. We can hardly be little demons. Yes. Hmm?
You have to be a big demon for Krishna to come to you. So if you're a little demon, Krishna will not come to you. He's too small.
I couldn't hear. What was that?
Being a little demon, Krishna won't come to you. You have to be a big demon.
Yeah, you have to be a big demon. The little small-time demons, why should Krishna bother? They're no fun. And there's no need. A big demon.
My obeisances, Maharaj. Thank you. One question arises in the mind that the Vrajvasis are so much in spontaneous love with Krishna that they forget that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then why does Krishna take a chance by showing him his opulence in Vaikuntha and Brahmajyoti as in the previous verses?
The activities of Goloka Vrindavan are maintained by Yogamaya by covering the Brajbasis so that they don't see that Krishna is God. So why did Krishna take a chance by showing them Vaikuntha? Well, for him there's no question of chance. Everything's a sure thing. He didn't have to worry that, well, maybe they'll realize everything and that will be it. It'll be over. There'll be no more of these sweet activities. Krishna's very sure of himself. He's the supreme controller. So he can do these things without risk that the Brajbasis will, once they know, then that's it. He's in complete control. Why did he show them? They wanted to see. Will we be liberated? What will be our destination? So out of love for the Brajbasis also, don't worry. You'll attain a very nice place. He showed them. They wanted to see. And Krishna out of love, yes. And also to show us. We can see that Krishna can at any time show these things, and he can bring us there. What is that in Bhagavad Gita is quoted? That, of course, what is in the purport to Tesham Aham Smudhartha Mrityu Samsara Sagarat Bhavami Nachirat Partha Maya Veshata Chetasam. For those who are Maya Veshata Chetasam, always thinking of me, I'm the person who frees them from the ocean of birth and death. Bhavami Nachirat. I quickly come, Nachirat, not after a long time. I soon rescue them from the ocean of birth and death. Maya Veshata Chetasa, because they're always engaged in devotional service. So Krishna is showing these things in this pastime and telling us in Bhagavad Gita also. And the verse is quoted in that purport that for the devotee Krishna comes riding on Garuda to rescue them from birth and death. Is that all right? Something else? Yes? Or wherever it goes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, in your response to Panchagoda Prabhu's question about Lakshmi Devi, you mentioned that she has her problems and we have our problems that prevent us. And you mentioned by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can overcome those. And I wanted to ask, what is the best way for us to get the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?
What's the best way to get the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam. Kalo nascheva, nascheva, nascheva gatiranyata. By Hare Nam Anukirtanam. Anukirtanam. To perform kirtan following in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Acharyas, both by chanting Hare Krishna, by glorifying Krishna, Krishna's form, qualities, pastimes, activities, as found in Srimad Bhagavatam, and by distributing the message of Krishna. Prabhupada called that the greater kirtan. Said your kirtan party will be heard for a few blocks, but the printing press will be heard all over the world. So this is the still greater kirtan. So by serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by following and by serving. Yes. I'm not going to choose. Wherever the microphone goes, you all decide.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the class. Like as a sadhaka, like as we start off, we are definitely envious of Lord Krishna. And then we have this personalization with him. But as you said that when you go to Vaikuntha and Krishna, look, we have that kind of personal, like even Srila Prabhupada says that we have to be very personal with the Lord. So as a sadhaka, how do we develop this kind of relationship with the Lord?
How do we have to be personal in dealing with the Lord? And as sadhakas, how do we do that? Yes. Is that the question?
Yes.
How do we develop a personal relationship with the Lord? First thing is that we serve equally the Lord and the spiritual master. Yasya deve parabhaktir yata devi tata guru tasyate katita yarta prakashante mahatmanam. Syan Mat Sevaya Vipra Punyatirthanisha. By serving the Krishna is a person, but he's a person that we don't see so easily. Even if we see him in the temple, we're seeing with our material angle of vision, thinking, oh, this is the deity of Krishna. Not Krishna, but the deity of Krishna. And when we're not in the temple, then we don't see anything. Maybe we see some hint. But the spiritual master is there as a person of our experience, and we can serve him personally, or we can neglect him. That also is personal. To some extent, we may serve him with great bandomvi sarvadana mate, with great awe and reverence, and with we may serve him with awe and reverence and affection, or we can be inattentive. That's also personal. That's also personal. What's going on out here that's creating disturbance? I remember Prabhupada wrote to me one time that I'm not getting copies of my books. And just asked me to send them to me. I was working with the press, and I'm not getting copies of my books. That means that we were doing the work, we were producing the books, we were fully engaged, but we weren't thinking, well, shouldn't we send a copy to Prabhupada? That means not paying attention. And on the other side, we've read that Bhurijan Prabhu was sending Srila Prabhupada a check regularly, $20, $50, something, and Prabhupada was appreciating. Some personal reciprocation. So it's the devotee who's intelligent tries to please the spiritual master. Yasya prasadam bhagavat prasadam. Yasya prasadam nagatir gadopi. If we fail to please the spiritual master, then we're nowhere. Sometimes we might want to discount the importance of the spiritual master. Oh, the institution is important, the philosophy is important, the founder acharya is important, the books are important. But the spiritual master is important. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, what is that? One should make the orders of the spiritual master one's life and soul. And that's personal. So, and Prabhupada says somewhere that one's relationship with the spiritual master is as good as one's relationship with Krishna. Maybe someone remembers that quote. One's relationship with one's spiritual master is as good as one's relationship with Krishna. Because sakshadhuri tena samasta shastra. So for the sadhakas, that opportunity is there. Then also, by following the rules and regulations, by worshiping the deity in the temple, by chanting the holy name, by reading the books, by association of devotees, by coming to Vrindavan. One gets the opportunity. Sadhaka means a person who's advancing by sadhana. What does it mean that we're sadhakas? It doesn't just mean that we're neophytes. It means that we're doing something. What is that something? Sadhana. Why are we doing sadhana? So that we can develop our personal relationship with Krishna, our love with Krishna. So how does a sadhaka develop love for Krishna? By sadhana. Is that okay?
Hare Krishna. I wanted to follow up a question on following Lord Chaitanya and particularly giving to others the Srila Prabhupada's books, distributing the holy name. I would like to ask a question about how to, or the line of thought that I had is that from a mature perspective, there is an understanding that everyone is a servant of Krishna, and on a deeper level, everyone will be benefited and everyone will appreciate. So, but then when we go out, we will see there's not so much appreciation. So people will be indifferent or even inimical. They will be irritated, agitated. So, and as long as we're not so advanced, we just try to disassociate from those same people. But then we go back there and try to give something. So, what is a more mature understanding which we should come up to in those preaching activities?
From the highest mature standard, we see that everyone's a devotee of Krishna, so they should all be receptive and eager to read the books then. But then in our practical activities, we see that there are people who are averse, people who are not inclined, and so on. So what level should we come up to deal with that? Is that your question?
I guess from any level one can try something, but we want to have a mature consciousness and a mature motivation. So what can we, if we continue to try to be a good devotee, what can we expect? Like, what kind of inner mood should we experience over time?
If we continue to be good devotees, what kind of mood should we experience over time? Well, we'll become better devotees. But the first thing is, you sort of stepping back through your question from the early part, the Uttamadhikaris see everyone engaged in Krishna's service. We're not Uttamadhikaris. We're not going to see that everyone is on that platform, and therefore I don't need even to preach. If I see that way, then I won't preach. So even the Uttamadhikaris, Prabhupada said, come to the Madhyam platform. And we come to the Madhyam platform the other way, from the Kanishta platform, where it's only me and Krishna. The Kanishta is very much interested in Krishna and himself. That's the extent of his devotion. But the Madhyamadhikari sees himself, the Lord, the innocent, the devotees, the demons. He sees that way. So we should try to come to that second class platform. Then, yes, and then we won't be surprised that some people are inclined, some people are averse. We expect that. The Madhyamadhikari, the experienced devotee, knows this comes with the territory. This is what we have to expect. And he's not discouraged. He knows, all right, some people will be averse, but some people will be receptive. So let me push on. And Krishna will, because that's the nature of kirtan. When you do kirtan, then Krishna reciprocates. This person's glorifying me, this person's serving me. Yayata mam prapadyante, tam stataiva bhajamya. Tadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upiyanti. Krishna reciprocates with the devotee. Krishna enlightens the devotee. Krishna gives transcendental happiness to the devotee. Krishna gives experience to the devotee, by which he becomes increasingly enlightened and enlivened. Does that answer your question? Okay. Another.
Hare Krishna, Danda Pranam Maharaj. Maharaj, will you please enlighten, to go back to Godhead, Krishna. So, is inattentive chanting of 16 rounds and following 4 regulative principles is enough?
Attentive chanting, you said?
No, inattentive. Right? Because, attentive...
Follow the 4... Well, Prabhupada never recommended follow the 4 regulative principles and chant 16 rounds inattentively. If that were the recommendation, it would be enough, but we have the opposite recommendation. Chant with attention. Where Prabhupada said, try to chant 16 good rounds. Then he was, and sometimes he would talk about quality in chanting. Someone asked, what is quality? Prabhupada said, avoiding the 10 offenses. That's quality.
So is this enough if we chant attentively and following 4 regulatory principles to go back to Godhead?
Chanting attentively and following the 4 regulative principles, is it enough to go back to Godhead? Prabhupada said it was. It was. Yes.
Thank you.
And in the back, there's some questions. The ladies have some questions.
Thank you for being present with Krishna, to give us Krishna, the vision of Krishna that he is always here. But how to behave sometimes?
How can we?
How to said when we see a degradation around us, if we don't have our authority near to us, how sometimes I feel that I have angry mood because we don't have always authority near to us, and sometimes also our authority don't follow strictly.
I'm having a hard time.
How?
I've got echoes in French.
Sorry.
I've got a French echo.
If our authorities are not immediately near to us and there is
Our authorities
degradation
are not immediately near us.
when there is degradation of
when there's
rules,
degradation
of the rules, the 4 principles,
of the rules, okay.
and that it take on our service,
And what?
and that we feel degraded in our
I'm
service.
sorry, we're just not getting very
Degradation.
far. As many times as you say it, I can't understand. Is there someone who speaks French and English back there who could give me that? It just takes me too long to try to decode this.
I think Mataji was asking that if the immediate authority is not close by, and
It's not what?
It's not close by. It's not close.
Not qualified, okay.
And then
Not close by, okay.
and then the degradation.
Yes, the degradation of rules
And then she can see the degradation of rules around her.
She sees the degradation of rules around her.
Can we act or no?
Then she gets angry.
So yes, she gets angry, and the question is whether she should act on that or not.
Whether she should act on that. Oh, I don't know. What do you do when you get angry?
I said to people, please respect Mataji side, Prabhu side. Like this. Respect Mataji side, Prabhu side.
No, I mean,
Respect.
She says, please respect Mataji's side or Prabhu's side. So she doesn't want to get involved, right?
Because there are a lot of men degraded, we want our association.
No. You have to have her help you consistently.
She says that there are a lot of men who are degraded.
Yes. We want association.
I see this
so
is
we have to be clean, but we have to be pure, chaste. But if they don't have protection, also.
Okay, so I think paraphrasing that generally problem is that there's a lot of men who are not clean, and she wants to be clean and she wants to be pure, but the women are not protected.
Kill all the men.
Send them to the forest.
We have a Durga in us also, so they should not play with us. We're not just looking Radha, we have Durga in us, so be careful. That's pure.
Lord Chaitanya recommended amanina manadena, that somehow we have to tolerate. Krishna also says, tam statikshasva. These things come and go. Ajyanta vanta kontiya. They come and go. Or agama payano nityas. They come and go. Sometimes the men are impossible, and sometimes they're gentlemanly or cordial. So it comes and goes. We should tolerate. Yeah, it's a variety of karma. We can take it that way, that this is what comes. Let's just accept it. Okay.
So
yes.
maybe I just ask the question now, since I have the mic.
No, I'm sorry. You just,
I raised my hand before.
Excuse me. You had. Oh, you want to have a
Yes.
question? Okay.
Maharaj, I have a question. You
earned it.
were saying that it's very important to serve our spiritual master.
Yes.
Sometimes the direct service is not possible, but we have an opportunity to serve our Shiksha Guru or other exalted Vaishnavas. So is Krishna equally pleased by that service?
The spiritual master will be pleased. Why only Krishna? When we serve the other Vaishnavas, we serve the Shiksha Guru, then the spiritual master becomes pleased. It's not that the spiritual master becomes pleased to see what a neophyte his disciple is, that he only sees Krishna and himself. The spiritual master becomes pleased to see the devotee making progress. So when the devotee becomes advanced in serving the Vaishnavas, serving the Shiksha Gurus, serving Krishna, serving those who are dear to Krishna, the spiritual master becomes pleased also. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Radhanath Swami Maharaj always says that, please worship my God brothers and serve them. I will be pleased.
Yes.
This is what my Guru Maharaj said.
Radhanath Maharaj said, please serve my God brothers and I'll
worship
be pleased.
them.
Worship and serve my God brothers and I'll be pleased.
Yes.
Yes, so nice.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, you said that the easiest way to please Lord Chaitanya is by chanting the holy names, Hare Nam, Hare Nam. So Maharaj, what is a good approach to it, that you chant 16 rounds, and we understand from Prabhupada that 16 is the minimum. So we should be chanting many more, maybe chanting all the time. So what is a good approach? Do we keep a target or a number in mind, like 25, 32, 64? Or should we wait that we chant 16 rounds as best as possible, and then whenever you're inspired to chant more, or do we just force ourselves to chant? How do we?
I said that the best way to please the Lord Chaitanya is by chanting the holy name, and we're ordered to chant 16 rounds if we want to chant more. Should we have a target, 32, 64, or just as we're inspired? Yeah?
Yes, Maharaj.
First thing is, I said the best way to to serve, to please Lord Chaitanya is by kirtan. That might be by chanting Hare Krishna, it might be by distributing books, it might be by glorifying Krishna in some other way. And it certainly might be by chanting the holy name. In chanting the holy name, especially Sri Krishna Sankirtana, congregational chanting of the holy name and distributing the holy name, and also chanting at least 16 good rounds. As far as how many, Prabhupada said at least 16. Now, beyond that, what you want to do you want to set a target that I'll chant 32, I'll chant something between 16 and 32, choose a number. Whatever number, you can do that. Sankhya Purvaka Namagana Natibhi. The Goswamis were chanting a set number of rounds. You can do that, or you can just say, all right, I'll chant at least 16, and if I have more time or more inspiration, I'll chant 18, I'll chant 20, I'll chant 40, I'll chant 64. There's no rule. It's up to you.
Thank you much.
And time the bell has tolled. Ask not for whom it tolls for the speaker. All right. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Chaitanya. And we have some books. If anyone is interested in a good book, I think it's good, they're available here. Hare Krishna.